Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our program of finance and investments in Ukraine. As I spoke last week, we're making a few changes and just kind of changing the dialogue a little bit and what we're going to be focusing on. And we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, startup businesses, expanding businesses, and just the opportunities that are here in Ukraine and in Kiev. So, my name is Mike Wilson. I'm with Andesite Blue, and we're brought to you here by Toloka Studio. And so I'm thankful for the productions here to be able to put this on for us. Well, this evening I have a special guest with us. She is a owner of her own online school for English, and I'll give her a chance to explain what she does and who she is and everything. Her name is Irina. And we've got a lot to talk about. She and I have been talking over the past several months on businesses and entrepreneurships and expanding her company, and I've just kind of been counseling her a little bit with that as well. So it's going to be a fun evening, and I look forward to really just the dialogue that we're going to have. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Irina. So Irina, thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. I know that I had you scheduled for last week, I believe, and then that got changed because we had a cancellation the week before.
Yeah.
So now we're back on schedule and everything, and I know that you had to actually move your schedule around a bit to fit it in at this time.
Yeah, actually, yes.
So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us your name and tell us who you are, what you are, where you're from, all that good stuff. So.
Okay, my name is Iryna Azarenka. I'm from Kiev. I live in Kiev. It's my hometown. And I am the owner of online school, Happy and Wise. And I am an English language teacher, and it's my first experience of live. So I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, actually, you'll calm down real quick here because it does go very smooth, and there's no script, there's nothing to worry about. We'll just be talking like we would at the coffee shop. So
okay.
Well, maybe I should rename this the coffee time TV or whatever, so to make it a little bit more relaxing. So you're out in Troyeshina, right?
Yes, I live in Troyeshina district.
That's the capital of Kiev, right?
Yes, you're right. I like this district because it's like river is near, forest is near, and my countryside is nearer than...
Your countryside meaning?
Yeah, it's like where my grandma lives.
Okay,
Like this.
Okay, so the village is near.
Yeah.
Okay, because, so now... You've got your hands in a lot of things. You're part of an entrepreneurial group. What's it called?
Yes, I'm the member of business club, Miracle Morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's called like Your Miracle Morning. You can find it on Instagram, and it's the club for young entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And we listen different speakers, and we teach how to be more confident, and it's like support. We support each other,
mm-hmm.
and there I have been like 2 years maybe. I'm the member, and when I came there, I bring the initiative to make sub-club of English because in my mind there is like a big desire to bring for people that English is not so difficult, and English should be like a part of your life, everyday routine, something like that. And that's why I make this sub-club to make small like surrounding and to involve people to
mm-hmm.
English-speaking atmosphere, and we communicate there in English. We make video circles on Telegram group, and every Saturday I have the online speaking club for entrepreneurs, and we play Elias game, and sometimes we have offline meetings,
mm-hmm.
and different native speakers came to our meetings. So
I happen to be one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was very good. I really enjoyed our little group, when they come out and we have that
Yes,
opportunity.
because
to speak.
we have like the same we have thing to talk. We are entrepreneurs. You are an entrepreneur, so it's a difficult word, like
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah, it's even hard for Americans to say entrepreneur. If they don't say it very frequently, it definitely ties up your tongue.
Yeah.
So, as we call it, tongue twister. So, and it's just one word. So, but yeah. Now, it's interesting. Now, obviously, our audience is English speaking or English understanding because this is all in English. So it doesn't really apply too much to them unless they're at like a B1 level. B2 level is actually a much better comprehension. Their comprehension is a lot easier, and they get about 75% of what they hear. B1 is probably 50-50, and anything lower than that gets a little more difficult. But English is becoming really, it's already the international language. So with Ukraine entering into the EU and entering into the European world and the Western society and business, Western commerce, English is becoming a value to themselves, to be able to interact, to be able to communicate, to be able to do business on a regular basis, especially in the IT sector or in the online sectors. But beyond that, there's so many venues and different types of businesses to take on where English can really expand your abilities. It can expand your opportunities.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where your school comes in. Now you teach young and old, correct?
Yes, teenagers and young learners and adults, and we provide business English lessons because it's important, Now English, it's not like superpower. It's like, it's normal to speak English now. It's okay.
It's why it makes me lazy because too many people speak English and I don't learn Ukrainian, and that's I want to, but I don't take the time, So and I teach a lot of English, so I have a lot of speaking clubs. I have schools that I teach at and different venues that I teach in, whether it's or private schools, online, and things like that. So I'm always surrounded with English. So it doesn't allow me to have the desire really to push myself to learn Ukrainian, which I do want to. I tell everybody I will be 120 years old when I'm fluent in Ukrainian.
Yeah, and it's like good practice and good training for your brain,
I know. Yes, it is. So now, Happy and Wise, how long has it been open?
Well, the idea became like maybe 2 years ago, and now I develop my online school, okay, let it be 2 years, yeah.
So 2 years?
2 years.
Okay, so you've been doing it yourself 2 years?
Yeah.
So you're the cook, you're the bottle washer, you're the chief, you're the whole thing, right?
Right.
And how is that working out for you and your schedule and your family and your children and your husband? How's that working?
Yeah. Sure. So firstly, I was like online English teacher, and I took a lot of students, and then came the idea of the name of my school, the logo of my school. I made it myself, I made the Instagram page, and I teach how to speak on camera, and I make my personal brand firstly.
Correct, okay.
And then I realized that my page, my personal page on Instagram, it's only my family, my friends, and not my clients,
Oh, right, on Instagram, right.
Yeah, and then I decided to put the logo and put the name of my school, and I created another page. And there I was practicing in SMM, like social media marketing. I learned a lot in this field, how to be SMM like specialist, how to make videos, how to make stories, reels, how to do these highlights. So everything I did with my hands. Yes.
Right. So right.
And is between the lessons.
That you were teaching.
Yes, I were teaching, and it was between the lessons. And when my lessons was over, when my Instagram page was full of stories, I thinking about new content for tomorrow, so it's
Yes.
like everyday routine from morning to until night. So I go to bed and with thoughts, what should I do next, oh my gosh, I have a lot of lessons, I need to do this, that. So, and then I realized that I need to grow, I need another teacher to help me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like scared,
So
It
prior
was my
to
fear.
that though, how was your family time?
To be honest, I realized that I have no time to cook for my children. They, but the good side of this medal is that they are teenagers and they can cook.
They learn to cook for themselves, right?
Yes.
That's the upside.
Yes, I'm horrible mother, but they can
Well,
cook soup. They can cook. They can peel potato. They can peel potato. They
Without
can
cutting
make
their fingers
all
off, right? Yes.
Yeah. So it's the good side.
Yeah. Well, there's that's good. They are learning to be independent in that way.
Yeah.
But I guess the point that I'm trying to say is that you decided to make a transition.
Yeah.
You've overworked yourself, so you don't just have two boys, you also have a third, right?
Right, husband.
Yes, your husband. Yes.
Yeah.
And all of them need care, and so you've been just overwhelmed with all of your thoughts, with all of your work, with all of your filming, your videographies, your content, and then your lessons,
Yeah.
and all of that. And so every waking moment is about being wise and kind of putting the family on the back burner. And that's a common it's a common trap to get into. It happens with men and women, where we get so focused and we get so enthusiastic and motivated by what we're doing and the success of it growing, and we like to take on more and more and more and more and more, and we keep on bringing more and more and more, and we are not realizing that what we're doing, in order to take on more, we're sacrificing other time. My evenings are getting very, very busy, and I realize that with everything I'm doing every evening for my business, for my project with the Western Saloon, and other activities and the speaking clubs and everything, that my daughter was going to be the one that suffered. And so I started cutting my speaking clubs so that I could have more time with my daughter. I don't want to sacrifice the time that she needs, and had the value to that. And that's when you and I met.
Yes.
Because I actually talked to you about this very thing, because we're not married to our business. We're married to our spouse. And the nurture of that, and to bring, do we need to keep that going, because that's what keeps the family. That's what really keeps us motivated. If we lose all of that, then we have a school, and then we have it. A school doesn't give us hugs. The school doesn't lay in bed and keep us warm in the winter. It gives us a good comfort. Our job gives us a good comfort to know that we're taking care of the stuff, but in reality, we have to learn to balance all of these things out. And you and I met in a way so that I could help you and encourage you to expand, so that you could take on teachers, to relinquish some of the roles that you're doing, so that you can then relax a little bit more and have some time, for your family, and go to the dacha or whatever, and go out on the lake and enjoy and just have a good time, or go to the parties, whatever. To just, what we say is, unbutton your shirt. And so now we're into that transition. Because you did see that, and you're excited about growing. But there's growing pains, isn't there?
Yes.
So what was the first thing that you faced with when that came up?
I remember all the fears. I remember there was a lot of fears, a lot of them. And when I'm talking like this, I remember, because I remember. The first one was, I'm the best teacher. and nobody can do it like
The way you do it,
better
yes.
than me, you know. I will do it myself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not true. Some teachers are maybe better than me even. It's now I realize that, you know, and it was the fear number one. The second one, it was things that I never did before. For
Right.
example, to hire another person, it's a big responsibility. I will take responsibility
For their schedule, for their income.
Yes, not for myself, but for other person, you know.
Yes.
And it was a fear. It was scared, really scared. But when I make this conversation, make this help me. When I talk with my potential teacher, you know, I realized that it's okay. So it's not so scared. So it's our brain, you know. It's because of our brain. It always says, don't go there because it's scared.
It's scary, something will go wrong, you're going to look stupid, you're going to look this, something's going to happen, you know, and everybody's going to hate you, and blah, 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 and the brain goes on, and we pile on top, one after another, and it just keeps going if we don't nip it in the bud.
Yes.
And also have what? A support group. That's the value of the support group. You know, the morning miracle?
Miracle
Morning Club.
Yes.
How many people are in that? About?
In Kiev, there are 500 or 600 people in Kiev, and they're also expanded in Poland. It's also 500 people there, young people who maybe from Ukraine. They escaped, women and men, you know. And I know some Polish people, some people from Belarus. I guess I noticed one or two girls from Belarus. So
so about 1,000 or more.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 1,000 people for this Miracle Morning.
Yeah.
And they get together online. Excuse me, most of it's online, correct?
No, it's offline.
Most of it is offline, or most of it?
Mostly
Poland
it's like offline meetings in Kiev and offline meetings in Warsaw. But
they have their meetings in those places. Oh, okay.
But they have online live
broadcasting.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So they have live streaming going on at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
So in the live, when they're doing a live session, they're actually recording it, but they're actually doing live streaming at the same time.
Yes.
For those people who cannot attend to the meeting. Okay, perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah.
And they have their guests that they have. I mean, I saw one of the guests, a video of one of the guests. She's quite a lady here. I forget her name. The one that owns the armory, you know, the different shooting and the...
Oh, yeah, Yashkina. Yes.
Yes. Very talented woman, very out, you know, she's very involved with the community. She's very involved with the help of the servicemen and the war effort and everything. But she was one of the guests on there, and so she's able to also share her experiences. And through these, it gives you support.
Yes.
You know, through these, it says, oh, yeah, that's what I'm struggling with, and that's the answer I needed to help me to overcome.
Yes.
And having that personal, even that one-on-one personal attention helps you to face and overcome. The thing is, we don't want to avoid the fear.
Yeah.
We don't want to say it's not there. Oh, I don't fear anything. I used to say that when I was young. When I'm in my 20s, I'm not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
You know, but that wasn't reality, and I wasn't growing, and I wasn't really becoming anything. It wasn't until my 30s that all of a sudden, and somebody just flat out said, "You're just a liar." And I go, of course, it offended me. And I was lying to myself. And those fears are common, they're very natural, they're there for a reason, and we have to look at them. And if there are fears that we need to overcome, then we need to face it, or we will never grow. We will just keep putting it behind us, and we will do something else. And but when we face it, it helps us to grow, and it helps us to have answers for our needs and for our solutions, or to get the solutions we need. And so fear is not a bad thing. It's something, but don't ignore it like you did. You faced it head on, and that's why we had that one meeting about fear.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
was helpful.
The reality. Yeah, the reality of starting a new business. Now yours is already started, so you had that success, but you want to expand, and you want to take on new teachers, and you want to become a multifaceted school. and take on more clients because you feel and you're confident that your teaching skills and your curriculum is the best for learning English, and so you're ready to take that on. And I've seen your curriculum, and I think it's pretty nice. I mean, it's pretty nice. And for a teacher, it's like, I don't have to think for myself because you did all the thinking for me and you put it all together, and I just go, oh, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, you know, so it's really easy.
Yeah, we use the platform. Yeah, it's very helpful
and so,
for teachers.
for the teachers, very, very comfortable.
And for students, it's also comfortable. You don't need to buy any books and workbooks, you know, all in your gadget, on your tablet or phone or...
Yeah, so you did all the hard work already.
Yeah.
And that's why you get paid the big bucks, as we say. You know, the chief, the principal, which you are, you're the principal and owner of your school. You've done all of the hard road work. You've done all the plowing. You've done all the preparations and everything. You've worked out all of the little underwater rocks, as you say. You know, you've gotten rid of all that. You've cleared the river. The boats can flow freely now, right? There's nobody's going to strike a rock because you've done all that hard work, and that's why,
I hope so,
as a principal and owner, that you know that you deserve the reward for that, and that you work out the agreement for your teachers and your students and everything on the way it's paid. That's commerce, you know. So just like Uber, right?
Right.
Uber set up the platform, did all the hard work. All you do is sign up. You get vetted to be an Uber driver. You have to have a clean background. You have to have clean record, no criminal record. Everything has to be clean.
Yeah.
Your driving record, everything has to be clean for you to be an Uber driver. And Uber takes a percentage of the fees from that they've received by the clients who need a taxi. And so he just owns a car and he just drives around and he just swipes and picks up people where he's at. And so Uber is technically the kind of the setup the way your school will be, because you've done all that work, and you're, as a principal, then your teachers now will be able to easily follow your platform and your program. And I know you have one new teacher, and I think you're looking at, you've asked me to be one of your native speaking teachers.
Yeah.
And when I have time, I've agreed that I will be able to help you and do that, which I would be happy to work with you on that. But you also are looking for additional teachers to be able to expand and to fill those times.
Sure.
And then the next goal is to stick to the principles of why you have your teachers, to free up your time, not to put on more burdens for yourself, but to free up your time so that you can put it more wisely into what has the greatest value. And that's why you do what you do. Of course, you're going to be on call. When something doesn't quite work out between your teacher and the student, and something broke down, and whether it's the internet, whatever it is, and you got to be the mediator in that. Yeah, you'll be on call from time to time. You got to smooth those things out. But other than that, you're not there. You're not sitting in on that class. That's time now that you have, that you will work into your private life so that you can have more of a personal life.
Yeah, sure. Well, next step, maybe it will be like one more teacher, and maybe it will be some person like a manager, to answer and to communicate with clients. Maybe I need some help with that because it takes time.
Yes, yeah.
It takes time, yeah. I communicate a lot.
Yeah, so that's another area where it's constant texting, constant communication, constant. That does take a lot.
And potential clients always write me on my personal phone number. So I need to think about I need to think about manager and another phone number maybe.
Okay, yeah. So those are all the expansion. So the other risk, the other fear that you might be running into is, how am I going to be able to afford all that? Because you have to hire somebody to do that. And has that crossed your mind?
Sorry?
Has that crossed your mind? How am I going to be able to afford all this?
You're asking about how can...
You're talking about taking on a manager.
Yes.
That's an expense. That's not a money maker. That's an expense.
It's yes, and I realized that it's not right now. It won't be right now, but it like will happen in future.
Right.
It will be my next step after hiring another teacher.
One or two more teachers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's a planning.
Yeah, it's my plan.
Because a manager is an expense. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not a revenue source.
Of course, I need to pay salary every
To
month.
that. Right. Right. And so you'll have to budget all that, and you have to figure out when the perfect timing is to come in there. And so So when you're working by yourself, it's all your revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, you put some in advertisement stores, you put some here, a little there, and stuff like that. But it pretty much is all your revenue. It starts to feel pretty good that it's all your revenue. But when you take on a teacher, all of a sudden it's not all your revenue.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, but I like that other revenue.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
but the point is of the replacement is to free you up. And so then when you're able to take on 2 or 3 teachers and you continue to expand, now that revenue actually becomes greater.
Mm-hmm.
And you've replaced the one you had when you had no time in your life, when you woke up thinking about school, when you went to bed thinking about school and dreaming about it all night, when you had no life, to now having a life, but you actually have increased your revenue.
Yeah.
That's really the motivation. I mean, why do it if you don't, if you have nothing to work toward, right? I mean, it's nice to be able to teach, you know, but I'm not Forrest Gump. I'm not mowing lawns just because I like to do it, and because I have so much money, I don't need to charge the school, so you're just mowing lawns. I'm not Forrest Gump. I don't have that thing. So my time is value, and so I need to exchange that value, and I need to have the proper resource for that, and have a way for that revenue to come in.
Yeah.
And so that's what entrepreneurship is about. We do it for the love of what we're doing, but we also are inspired and motivated to do it for the income.
Mm-hmm.
Working for somebody else limits our ability to make money.
Yeah.
Working for ourselves gives us control over the amount of money we can make, and that is a much better incentive. It's more motivating, it's far more inspiring, and it frees us up to own a car if we have a desire to own a car. It frees us up to travel more if we want to travel a lot. You know, take care of our family, to provide for our children's education, to have the best things for our family, right? And that's why entrepreneurs do what they do. In society, only 20% of the population are entrepreneurs. 80% are content and satisfied to work for somebody else.
Yeah,
Nothing
because
wrong
it's
with
scared. Because it's scared.
They're scared, but they're, you know, not everybody is built the same. We don't think the same.
Yeah.
Are you a scientist?
No.
No. Why not?
I'm not interested in this.
Exactly, right?
But
are there scientists? Do we know any scientists?
No.
Sveta, you know some.
Okay. Sveta, okay. Sorry, Sveta.
And she she just loves what she does. She's created for herself kind of her own little gold pot because people want her. Mm-hmm. Different companies want her, so she's created her own value, and so they're like, you know, fighting for her and stuff like that. So that's a fun place to be too. So in a sense, even though she's not an entrepreneur, she's created herself in such a position to be desired by other companies and big lab techs and things like that. That she could almost be considered an entrepreneur because she kind of is controlling her own destiny that way. Yeah. You know, so there's ways to do it, but yeah, you're not a scientist. I have no desire to be a scientist. Now, do I love science? Yeah, I think it's cool, but I'm not spending my life and my time and energy to be a scientist. I'm a businessman. That I aspire to. That's what I like to do. I like starting businesses. I like being successful in businesses. I like to sell them when they're successful. I like to start up new businesses, and I continue to just always be inspired by something. There's a need, and I want to fill it, and I want to start a business to do it. So not everybody is. Like I say, only about 20% of the population are. And out of that 20%, yeah, every one of them had to face their fears. Every one of them had to be confronted with how we're going to succeed. Some of them, it was given to them by family. They just kind of went through, you know, and they just kind of inherited, you might say. Some of them are just wealthy and they don't need to do anything, you know, and they just, you know, that's a different category. Those are the 1%, the 2% of the world that are not part of this. The 20% of society produces 80% of the tax revenue for a country or for the state or the city. The other 80% only fulfill the other 20% of that tax revenue. Those are the people who just work.
It's something about 80 and 20%, like it's some kind of law.
Yeah, it's the 80-20, yeah, and it works in so not just in business, so not just in taxation or income. Yeah. It works in a broad area of everybody's lives and just basic society, and so so it takes a special kind of person. It takes a special kind of thinking, which you're now facing. You've already faced it 2 years ago.
Yeah, but before, I also, me and my partner, not my partner, but my friend and I, we made the event company. It was like a celebration, birthday parties for kids. So, and it was another part of my entrepreneurship. And before that there was idea of a platform for handmade artists who produce some beautiful bouquets and something like that. So it called like подарунки зі смаком, so like presents with like good presents for everybody. So, but I was thinking, how can I make a partnership with this or that person, which percent of income I can share, what can I get from this, what can I get from there. So it was always in my mind, and you are right, it's like the way I think,
Yeah, okay, and you probably started at maybe even through university or even before that you were already thinking in these kind of thought processes at a younger age of, what can I do? This is a good idea. That's a nice idea. Maybe we can create something or create a business around it or something like that.
Yeah, usually it happens like that, but it's not about me. I was a teacher of English. I dreamt to be a teacher of English since my childhood. I remember that moment. It was first grade. It was my first English language teacher and my first lesson of English.
Oh, wow.
And it was like I loved, and I came home and I started to fill in like I couldn't write English. I didn't know any words, but I was so excited because every scene had the different name,
Right.
It's not a miaч, it's a ball. It's not stool, it's a chair, and it was like another world for me. It was exciting, and since then I had a dream to become a teacher.
Okay.
So it's my passion, yeah, and it was really hard to give my students to another teacher,
Yes.
And and to share, and we work like a team, I help my teacher to develop her skills, and she helps me to free my time.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Exactly. That's the exchange of actually bringing on more teachers into your school. So no, but you were you're alluding. I'm not catching it clearly. So maybe you can help clear that up.
Yeah.
You were a teacher before you had your own school, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you were an English teacher for another company.
Yes.
Okay.
I was.
It was like Cambridge or something like that, or.
No, it was. I don't remember that I worked in. Like school, Kiev school, but it was private school,
Okay.
Not not the governmental school.
Right.
It was private school because I was afraid after my university. I was afraid of audience. I was afraid of big classes. There will be 30 students, and what should I do with them? I don't want to do this. But I started. From private school. It was private kindergarten firstly because I had a fear after my there was a break I got married. I had one child and then another child. So these 6 or 5 years, I was like isolated from the job, from English.
Okay, right.
Yes, I played with my kids. We played English games. We sing songs, and then I realized that I need and I want to teach some kids.
Okay.
Some more kids.
Okay.
Give me some more kids, And I went.
You didn't want to just produce them. You just want.
Yes. Give me. I will teach them. Okay. And there was a lot of ideas in my head. Then I was young, so. Well,
You're
young.
still young.
Yeah, I'm still young, but I was younger,
Yeah.
and I was full of energy, and it was kindergarten, then it was school children, and then teenagers, and then adults.
Okay,
So, and
okay.
every step, it was like some kind of fears, I stepped these fears. So.
And now you're fearless.
I
Except
guess.
for entrepreneurship or expansion, but
Yeah.
talking to people, meeting people,
Yeah.
making your videos, put them all over, TikTok and Instagram and all those
Yeah,
places.
I like it.
Yeah, now you've overcome that,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the cool thing about growth. Is that when we face them, we overcome them, and actually, there's a joy when we realize that we overcame it, and it gives us more passion and love that more. So it doesn't matter. We're talking about English right now. I mean, we're talking about an English school right now, but there's so many. There's so many ideas. There's so many things to do in business and to start your own business. The best way to guarantee some of your success as an entrepreneur, and you have an idea, you have something that you want to do. Put it down on paper. We've talked about this before. You put it down on paper, you write it out, you look at it, you read it, you rewrite it, because you're going to have to continue to keep it living and expand on that idea. You look at the market, but a lot of our ideas comes from a need, something that, man, I wish we had that. It's like you want to go buy something, you want to go get something, you want to have some service. It could be entertainment. It could be really any venue, or even online. Online is very, IT. It's so in depth. It's so intricate. There's so many facets to it. I mean, there's so many things that can be done. There's computer science. There's marketing. There's all kinds of stuff that the IT world provides. So whatever idea it is, you put it down on paper, you do a little, market testing basically you take your idea and you start kind of just throwing it out there with your friends, your families, just kind of get the response, strangers, and opportunity to really just kind of say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking, this is what I want to do, this is the idea, the principle, everything that how it's flourishing inside of you. You get kind of a feel for the response. And from that, it can inspire you to take your next steps. And how do you take your next steps? Well, part of them is being part of entrepreneurial groups. Those are really, really, I don't want to call them incubators, because that's usually a term for investments.
No.
But it's just an organization that really helps build each other up and to support one another, to encourage, to really a place to go. Says, hey, I got a problem. You lay it out there, and you're going to get a 100 to 1,000 answers back, and it allows you to, sift through all that and to be, know that you're not alone, especially on the fears. I say, don't avoid your fears. Be open. The more you're open to that and share, says, you know what? I realize that when I wake up in the morning, or I realize when I go to bed at night, that I get afraid of this or that, and it. You want to be open with that fear, and to yourself and to those that you trust around you. Because by doing that, you actually open them up too, to be able to give you some feedback, and they appreciate that. It says, oh, you really, thinking of me, of someone to talk to. And they appreciate it, and so that way, now you've got it out in the open. Now, how do we address it? What do we need to do? Sometimes it's just doing it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it, just like Nike, right? Just do it,
Just do it.
that's kind of the, I use that term loosely, but it's kind of what the American spirit is about. Just do it. It's called the land of opportunity, and that's why so many people gravitate to the United States. So many migrants, and just continue to go into the United States because it's their feeling that they can do something. They can open a restaurant. They can open a store. They can open a business. They can go over here. They feel like all of a sudden they are in control of their destiny, and that's what the land of opportunity is about. Well, land of opportunity is here in Ukraine also, and it's going to be so much more too when the war is over, which, by the way, I don't know if you've felt this, but there's kind of a gearing up. A lot of businesses are already beginning to gear up for the tourism, and oh my God, there's so much need that's going to be there. Mechanics are going to be a huge need for the vehicles, new vehicles for the tourism and the buses and everything. Places, Airbnbs, we can go on, restaurants, we can go on and on and on. It's going to have to take care of the millions of people every year that are going to come into this city. They're all going to be speaking English, no matter what country they're coming from, right?
Yeah,
Because
service should speak in service.
So the service needs to speak English. So this is important for people to know that, hey, they have an opportunity through Happy and Wise online schools to pick up their English, to brush up their English, to get ready for this influx of a flood of tourism that's going to come into Ukraine. Opportunities are going to be all over the place, and so this is really a rich land. And it doesn't, so the land of opportunity doesn't just have to be in America. Well, the land of opportunity is right here. When I arrived here almost 5 years ago, I saw it all over the place. It's like golden nuggets laying in the streets, just ready to be taken and something to be done with.
Yeah.
And so, I'm here as a support also. You and I have been talking about a business school and doing Western philosophy and business and entrepreneurship and commerce. So we're going to be working more on that in the future to be able to work that end as well, because there's a huge need to really start thinking because when we go into the EU, that's going into the Western society. And we're right on the edge of that right now. So it's absolutely wonderful opportunities. I'm excited for you because your school is going to grow over the next year, this first year. You're going to get through these growing pains. You're going to learn to manage your time. You're going to get to enjoy your family with the fruits of, I know your husband works, so you both will be able to really share in and enjoy. You'll be able to get that. I don't remember what you said. If you wanted a BMW or Mercedes, or you said you wanted a Range Rover. I forgot what it was. Ferrari. Well, if you want to go there, that's fine. That's when the kids are grown and out of the house, because you don't want the teenagers around the Ferrari.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, it's just my association with words like red car,
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when I worked like a teacher, and small kids came to me and say, "Oh, I don't want," or "I want this, I want that," and I cried like, "I want a red car too, give me please." And they just, what? So it worked.
Very good, very good. Exactly. Sometimes it can be something to realize that, we make sacrifices a day to have the red car, which, as you said, associates into a sports car, which is for you is a Ferrari.
Yeah, it's a brand, so they make it.
But it's also status, if you and your husband are driving around in a red Ferrari, your school has done very good.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah, maybe it will be yellow because my logo is yellow.
Pani Irina is driving around in a red Ferrari or yellow. Yeah, yellow. That'll be fine too. I'm sure if it's a Ferrari, you probably don't care what color it's in, but yellow or red would be pretty fantastic. Sure. But those things motivate us also to aspire and to make the sacrifices today so that we can enjoy the fruits of our labor, down the road, So, anyway, thank you for joining. I know there's a lot of projects that we've been talking about. We can't really get them all in one setting. Maybe we'll have to have you on again now that you're more relaxed.
Okay, thank you for inviting me. And
absolutely, yeah.
We have a big mission, to make English-speaking society in Ukraine too, because it's really important to speak English now. And I believe that it will replace maybe Russian language, and our kids will use not Russian on breaks but English.
English and Ukrainian, yes.
Yeah, it will be great. I think so.
Well, and you're the one. I believe you're the one that told me about the legislation for English as being the second language.
Yes. There is a law. I don't know it runs now or not, but all the government and all of the services, I guess, should speak English, and they won't get the position if they won't
Don't
pass.
have that bilingual status
Yes.
of English and
Yes.
okay.
So it's like.
Yeah, I'm not sure the legislation on that. I'm not sure exactly the law. I've heard it as well, though, and it's because Ukraine again is moving into the EU, and they have to modernize their infrastructure and everything. And part of being able to do business is the English language. Ukrainian doesn't work well in the UK. It doesn't work well in any other country. It's a beautiful language. I love Ukrainian language. I love the culture of Ukraine, and will always support that and always be a part. That'll be who you are. But the language English is not replacing your culture, and English is not replacing your language. It's really adding to it. That's really what we're looking at. It's just adding a factor into it that broadens and enriches your capabilities and provides additional opportunities for the citizens and for Ukraine. So
Sure, it will open the gate to the world, and you will have original information. And I told people, like, imagine that you will hear the real voice of your favorite actor or actress.
Yes.
It's like a superpower,
The first time it might sound weird, though.
Yeah.
That's what they sound like.
Yeah. Oh, it's Angelina's voice. Oh, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be like strange first,
Yeah.
but then it will be okay with that.
So, well, very good. Well, again, it was a pleasure having you on this evening with me and being my guest. Enjoy the conversation. Everyone, thank you for joining us this evening as well. I hope you were able to receive some information on this. I know we spent a lot on the English language. And in reality, though, I was putting together, as it is part of the entrepreneurial partnerships that we're putting together and encouraging and trying to inspire you out there that are really looking to do something. And English is just one of those factors in it that will help and will expand your abilities and your opportunities. So, but have a good evening. Have a good rest of the week. I look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll be continuing this program for entrepreneurship. I'll be bringing in other guests that have their own businesses, and we'll be talking about that. Also, I mentioned investments. Those opportunities are always available. Some of these new businesses do require some of the seed funding and things to get started and off the ground. And in Ukraine, there's just a lot of opportunities for investments and to put your money in some safe places. They're going to have some tremendous growth. This types of investments, though, are about very expansive growth. We're talking 100%, 1,000% over in the 2, 3, 5 year periods of new businesses that you would invest in, just because of the dynamics of a new company, or the dynamics of when the war ends and the influx of commerce and business is going to be coming into Ukraine, entering into the EU. There's just so many factors that's going to create these tremendous rates of return. So anyway, it's something to keep your eye out for. Keep your ear to the ground. That's how the Indians used to find out who's coming, their way. You can hear the hoof prints for a mile away, from strangers or from people coming from abroad. But we call it keeping your ear to the ground, and that is really paying attention to your environment and paying attention to what's going on. So, again, thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you. Have a great week, and Slava Ukraina.
Героям слава.